Welcome back, our attendees. I'm pleased to come back with our next speaker, Mr. Vaneet Mehta, Regional Head for the Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa at Tata Communications, speaking on today's topic, Connecting and Transforming Educational Institutions in the Middle East. Over to you, Mr. Vaneet.
Thank you, Melvin, and thank you, White Paper Summits, for giving us this opportunity to speak at Omren Technology Summit. Thank you, His Excellency Dr. Saif, for the kind words and kicking off this important summit and this important conference. Tata Communications has been associated with the research and education organizations across the world historically as well, and I welcome even Eve on this call for he's been associated with us as well, and now he's leading the initiative based out of Asia Pacific. I'll cover my presentation in just about a couple of slides related to what Tata Communications strength is, what do we do in Oman, and what do we do in Middle East and the other parts of the world, serving the research and education organization and trying to build a strong community from a data exchange and from how do we serve the end consumers and our children as well. So Tata Communications historically has been a very strong player in the connectivity space. We've been recognized by Gartner for 8 years in a row for network services, which is a very strong play for us even today. We have 6 owned and operated submarine cables, which is called Tata Global Network, the TGN cable, which runs across the globe. And we serve a whole set of segments, which is the CDN players, the ISPs, the telecom carriers, the research and education, government, OTTs coming up big time, SMEs and enterprises. And we were the first ones to trial the 100 gig across our network way back in 2014. And I have some old press releases to share as well, where the world at that time was only talking about not even a 10 gig, and we were trialing 100 gig for RNE network setup. We also have a lot of consortium cable investments and interest across the globe, be it the cables like SIMIV4, SIMIV3, which all land with different service provider partners. And in this part of the world, which is Middle East, we work hand in glove with our service provider partners, especially Omantel, Ooredoo, Etisalat in the region, and Batelco and South STC, Mobile, etc. So a very strong and integrated play, which we have in this part of the world from a submarine cable perspective. And we are continuously investing in enhancing the capabilities of our network as we speak, building low latency networks, building greater grid networks to serve the RNE communities as well. So going on to the next slide, we very proudly, I would say, carry 30% of the world's internet routes and work very, very closely with 600 plus MVNOs. We have a presence in about 200 plus countries where we have our operations and connectivity. And part of the Tata Group, of course, we touch almost 99.7% of the world's GDP, whether it is through Tata Communications, serving the people through the internet connectivity or the cloud services or the cybersecurity services. I heard Dr. Saif saying, we are looking at building a secure environment across the globe for our RNE community. And this is where, Tata Communications as a digital ecosystem enabler comes into play. And, we serve the RNE community. So from that perspective, even the cloud, the world is fast moving towards a cloud adoption. And we've seen that in Middle East as well, where a lot of OTTs and the cloud players and the CSPs are coming in, establishing their base and establishing their presence in the region. So this is at a high level what Tata Communications does. And the one which I've highlighted in red is the next generation connectivity, which obviously is very, very relevant to the R&E community, as we know. So our key customer drivers continue to be enabling borderless growth from Tata Comm's perspective. We continue to boost product innovation and improve the customer experience. We are, in all shapes and forms through all our products and services, into enhancing the productivity and efficiency of our customers, building an agile customer experience, and also managing risk in terms of, since everything now is moving into the cloud, how do you ensure that your end consumers or your data is protected, whether through edge or through cloud or through security. So, and in terms of our other set of services, mobility and IoT continues to be our core play. So also is the collaboration suite of services which we offer. And we continue to have our commitments across sustainability, innovation, and artificial intelligence as an organization. Moving on, this is where we have seen the R&E growing on a year-on-year basis. It is the second highest growth in terms of volume, in terms of the bandwidth which is going to get consumed. I see that in 2021 we've already surpassed what was forecasted way back a couple of years back. And the OTTs continue to be the drivers, but R&E, of course, is also one of the key drivers in driving the overall bandwidth consumption across the globe. And what I learned was, this is not a grid, this is not a cloud, this is a globally distributed concurrent galaxy of supercomputers which is being built. And we are very excited to be part of this journey. We have been historically as well. And we will continue to invest and work closely with the R&E organizations across the globe going forward. Just a quick mapping of, back of envelope as to which particular R&E organization could be using which particular cable system across the globe. And just out of, interest, we have almost all the R&Es, will have the ability to, use the cables of Tata Communications, whether it is CBRAS or it is TIC, or it is TGN EuroAsia or SIMIV4 or any other cables. So I'll go through the cable systems here as well, a little more in detail, and obviously my contact details are there with Melvin. If anyone has any questions, he can reach out to us. These are some of the old press releases, as I said, in 2014, where we were the first ones to test 100 gig across the Pacific to serve one of the R&E community members. So this is our cable network in the Gulf, which starts from Mumbai, comes into Oman, and then further on into UAE, into Qatar, in Bahrain, and then into Saudi Arabia. And then from Saudi Arabia, we have two branching units into East and West, Khobar and Jeddah, and we go on to Marseille. So this is again a very low latency cable system which has been laid from Mumbai, or I would say from the east to the west. And already it is 100 gig enabled, 400 gig has been trialed out. And the one in blue is our fully owned cable system, and the one in other colors, which is green and orange, are the consortium cables where we are partnered in. Moving on, Africa again continues to be our key focus. We are investing directly and indirectly into new cable systems coming into Africa as well. Currently, we are serving Africa through 3 cables in the west and about 2 cables in the east. CCOM, SafeSat3 on the east, and on the west we have VAX, we have SAT3, and we also have ACE cable system, and also the new ones like Equiano and all, where we are working with the consortium partners together. So Africa continues to be our growth market. We also have our points of presence in around 22 odd countries where we serve our other customers as well. In addition to the R&E and in addition to the OTTs. Moving on, this is our Asia Pacific network which we have, which is also called TGN Intra-Asia Cable. In addition to that, we have connectivity into Australia, into Japan, the new cable route which we are connecting, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, and Hong Kong Americas is another one which is getting built. So the objective of building new cables obviously is, as more and more cables go end of life after 25 years, we look at alternate ways of connecting continents and also shortest possible routes to improve our latency. And the reason why I'm saying is this, not because obviously our customers are driving this requirement to build the next generation network. It is also for our organic need. So if we have like 200 plus Ethernet POPs across the world, we also need a low latency network for our own use. So this is what is driving both our organic use as well as the customer demand in terms of how do we build our networks and how do we fine tune our networks and build new ones as the old ones are aging. Again, a mesh of cables across India, across Asia, just a glimpse of, what do we do, how do we serve. So almost every important country is wired up by Tata Communications, and only by virtue of that, if I mentioned earlier, we carry around 30% of the world's internet today. So on and so forth. CBRAS is CBRAS 1, and these are the European cable systems which we have, and also TGN Atlantic, which is TGN A, which is mentioned in blue here, which is connecting Europe all the way to US, and the other cable systems where we have consortium interests are also mentioned on this slide. So having said that, just a quick summary of what our strengths are in terms of, coming from the Indian legacy, obviously we are a dominant player in India in terms of serving the research and education organizations or also the other segments. And globally, we proudly manage 15 cables landing stations, which is our own plus the other consortium cables as well. We own and operate the largest submarine cable network of our own, which is a private network of our own, which is called Tata Global Network, TGN. And it is complemented by consortium and partner cables, as I had mentioned earlier. So this pretty much is our strength. And we also are in direct and indirect partnerships, as I mentioned, for cable stations and the new infrastructure and the new services we roll out on top of these services. So as you know, the cables are just the layer, not even one, the layer 0 or the foundation of any enterprise or any foundation of any RNE network. And then on top of it, you have all these terminal equipments, the edge computing where the world is evolving towards. And that's how we offer value to our end consumers going forward. And what we have seen is in Middle East, thanks to the ASREN and the other RNE organizations, this research and education, there's a lot of money being spent in research. And as such, a lot of collaboration across the globe is required to get this into a successful mode. So historically as well, we've seen Ankabut or Omren or ASREN or the other organizations working very closely with the international organizations as well to offer high-speed connectivity and the other services across the globe. Having said that, I just have one more slide which shows you the complete globe in terms of all the cables which we have and to choose from. If we have to connect and build a network of supercomputers across the globe to increase the collaboration and the data exchange between different parts of the world. And this is our complex but yet a very comprehensive Ethernet network and the nodes or the presence which we have. So if you can see, we are pretty much everywhere, and that's the strength and that's the trust which we bring on the table as Tata Communications. So that's it. Melvin, back to you. If there are any questions, I can take them.
Thank you, Vaneet, for the presentation. One of the questions, since you work with Astrin in the Middle East, how is it Omren in Oman can benefit from some of those experiences you have had?
Yeah, so that's great. See, our association with the RNE organizations have been, historical. I would say it's not new. We are not new in the game. Actually our journey in Tata Communications, towards evolving from a technology standpoint. The need, or the first set of consumers who drove that need was the RNE community. And I'm very proud to be associated with the RNA community, especially in the Gulf, where I've spent almost more than half of my career as well. So we have worked. So in this part of the world, the only issue, Melvin, which we see is it's a regulated environment, so to say. It's not an issue. It's how any region would have its own dynamics and how it operates. So what we have done is we are aligned with our service provider partners. So for example, if we have to work with Ankabut, we would be working through Etisalat, not directly, but obviously the relationship and all the strengths and all the technology benefits is what Tatacom brings on the table. Similarly, in Oman as well, it's an important hub. It's evolved, and it has evolved itself as a very important hub, where we are investing more and more to set up our points of presence, including the new one where we are trying to set up with Omantel and Equinix as well. So again, the modus operandi, I would say, it would be the same. We would be serving these RNEs through the service provider partners, be it Omantel or Ooredoo or Oman Broadband or whoever has the license. And also to build new cable systems is an initiative which we drive with the service provider partners in the region. So having said that, happy to conduct a separate workshop with the Oman RNE community. So to say, if required, we can do it virtually, physically, if we can meet and take this discussion forward.
Perfect. Thank you for your time and presentation, and hope to meet in person next year.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Melvin.